Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and I wanted to share with you the do's and don'ts of hooded eyes if you have my hooded eye shape. When I first started my YouTube channel back in 2008, yes, that's when I started YouTube, I had a handful of videos on there that I've since deleted, which is super unfortunate. If you ever have a YouTube channel and you have old videos that you're embarrassed of, don't delete them. It's not worth it. If anything, just make them private. But anyway, when I started that, I thought that no one would ever want to watch my videos because I had hooded eyes. I thought I was at a disadvantage because I didn't have a full lid where I can apply multiple colors and do something elaborate and gorgeous. But since then, in the last 10 or so years, I've learned to embrace my hooded eyes. There are tons of beauty icons out there with hooded eyes. It's just a matter of learning how to make them work because no two hooded eyes are the same. That's one thing that I've really come to learn that I'm going to explain further in the video. So I've taken some notes. I'm gonna share with you about 10 tips for hooded eyes. So if you're interested in seeing the do's and don'ts of hooded eyes, if you have my hooded eye shape, please keep watching. Okay guys, so obviously I have no eyeshadow on, I have everything else on. It might be a good idea when you're just starting out to just go with bare face and then start with your eyes because it takes practice to learn what works for your hooded eye shape. So that, my friends, is my first tip here. I'm gonna reference my notebook where I've taken all my tips. You need to learn what works for your hooded eyes. No two hooded eyes are the same. I spent so many years on YouTube watching hooded eye tutorials and trying to cut my crease and make myself have a fake crease, and I could not understand why it wouldn't work. I was just going off of YouTube tutorials who fake creases, and I learned that their hooded eyes are not the same as mine, so that will not work. When I try to create a faux crease, it just makes my eyes look way too heavy. You really need to dedicate some time to practicing what works for your eyes, you guys. It is difficult. I've probably watched thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of YouTube tutorials, hooded eye tutorials, normal eye tutorials, the works to figure out what works for me. And that was all done through practice and experimentation. You're gonna have to have those crazy eyeshadow looks one day just to see what works for you. Watch those YouTube tutorials, pick up tips and tricks. Just know you may have to accommodate it so it works for your eye shape. So on that same note, sometimes with hooded eyes, I find the simpler the better. When I've done hooded eye clients and on my own eyes sometimes, I find that you can do one shadow with hooded eyes, and Gigi Hadid, I find, does this a lot, or her makeup artist. They pretty much apply like one or two shadows and it looks gorgeous. Now that's not to say that you can't do elaborate makeup styles and beautiful techniques where you have creases and multi-dimensional colors and all that good stuff. Sometimes just using a minimal amount of eyeshadow is a good idea. So now I'm gonna kind of start like telling you guys what I do when I'm applying makeup. So we'll do my do's on this side and my don't on this side. Any eyeshadow look that you're doing on any clients, that anybody is doing on themselves, prime your lids. It's super important. It's not just a hooded eye thing because of transfer. Yes, your eyeshadow will transfer, but it'll do that no matter what if you apply primer or if you don't apply primer. Sorry about my eye here. I have super bad allergies right now, so my eye is watering just a little bit, so ignore that. I'm gonna prime this eye, I'm not gonna prime this eye. Third tip is shimmer. You wanna keep shimmer to kind of a minimum when you're working with hooded eyes. I think that you should only keep the shimmer on the mobile lid and just a little bit, and when I say a little bit, I mean like what's above my fingernail right there, if you want to highlight with a shimmer. I'm not too big into highlighting with a shimmer. I really just try to keep my shimmer not even on this like outer lid here. I try to keep it on the inner corner to about right here. The reason is because if you apply it to, you know, the hood here, or you bring it down too far, you start to highlight that area, and that hood is already highlighted. It's already brought forward. So you want to keep more matte shades on the hood because you want it to recede rather than come forward. So I'll show you how I use my shimmer when we start to do this, but right after you apply your primer, you want to set with a, you know, skin tone shade. Take a fluffy brush and go ahead and set that all the way up to the brow bone. Once again, I'm not going to apply anything on the other on the other eye. The reason you want to do this is because you provide a base for applying your other shadows. So when you go in with another shadow, it doesn't like skip around and then look patchy. And then you have like a perfect flat canvas for applying your shadows. And that's important when it comes to hooded eyes because you don't have as much leeway. You don't have as much open space. So fourth point, you want to lift your eyes when it comes to eyeshadow. You don't want to bring the eyeshadow down. Like if I was to follow my natural crease, you can see I would be applying shadow down like this, and that would make my eyes look downturned. We don't want that. So I'm just gonna grab a flat brush for now, and I'm just gonna take a matte shade, a neutral brown color. I just used these two colors right here because they're light enough so I can start the definition, and then we'll go back in with a darker color. So when I say lift the eyes, this is kind of molding into the fifth point. You don't really want to over exaggerate your eyeshadows. I find that a lot of girls, especially on YouTube, you know, take their eyeshadow all the way out here. With hooded eyes, it's very difficult to do that, at least with my shape hooded eyes. So I like to follow, fifth point, my natural lash line. So imagine this is going up and we're lifting the eyes at the same point. So you're gonna take it and just kind of stamp, let me scoot up so you guys can see. You're gonna stamp it right here and kind of follow your natural lash line. So you can see I'm lifting the eye as I do this. So I'm laying out the shape here, and then I'm gonna start to pull it in just a little bit. So I'm going to, obviously this is a little higher than my natural crease. I applied that too high, but we'll fix it because it's Morphe shadows and they can blend really easy. And you always want to keep a clean blending brush next to you. So I'm gonna just blend out that area that I applied too much, and we'll start to kind of work it out so it's nice and blended. No harsh lines. You want it to look as seamless as possible. And this takes time and it takes patience, but you want to work slowly. And as you can see, I'm keeping it on the outer like third of my eye. So you can see the difference here. Obviously there's some shading here, and then there's my other eye. So I'm going to show you what you don't want to do with this eye. You don't want to take those two colors and go all over the lid, because this is going to just hide that lid a little more, and you don't want to, you know, not blend and work slowly, because then you end up with kind of a mess. So I'm gonna kind of fake the crease here too. So I've watched a lot of YouTube tutorials where they just bring shadow up so that you can see it when your eyes are closed. So if my eyes are closed like this, I would need to apply that all the way up here so you can see it, right? And that's what I end up looking like, which doesn't work for me. Obviously, we want to blend these edges out, and I'm legitimately gonna try to make this work here. So to me, this looks a lot more flattering than this. I just can't pull off the eyeshadow up on the hood thing. I just think it looks super unnatural because my hood protrudes farther out than like a mono lid, or somebody whose lid is a little more like flat like that. They still have hooded eyes. So then we're gonna go ahead and start to build up the definition. So now I'm gonna just take a darker brown. You can use whatever you have, and I'm going to go in with a more precise blending brush. This is the M507. And I'm gonna kind of toggle between that guy, I don't know what number this is, but a very, very small, like flat shader brush like this. And I'm gonna start to kind of work my outer V. And this you really wanna keep inside the natural lash line. So I'm just kind of working the eyeshadow in an upwards motion, staying within those natural creases. And I'm just gonna start to kind of pull it in. So it's almost like you're doing like a liner, which we'll get into later, but with a shadow. This is how you lift your eye. Slowly, slowly working that. Now, I'm gonna show you on the other eye, if I just took a blending brush, so I'll grab my MAC 217 and I'm gonna dip into that dark color. You shouldn't just go in and start applying heavy-handed up onto the crease, the fake crease, and onto the lid with that like V motion. When you watch those tutorials where they fake a crease like this, it just looks so heavy on my eyes. That just doesn't work. Once again, here we have a more clean, slow transition, and this is just too heavy. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take a pencil brush and just use a black color, and this is how I'm going to define the outer corner just a little bit. I'm just gonna add this very, very, very close to my lash line. Same shape. Just keeping it tighter to the lash line. Just like that. That's all I'm going to apply. And then I'm going to take that same shader brush that I was applying the brown shadow with and just start to blend. And then again, a brush with no color on it to blend the edges and make everything look seamless. So I'm gonna show you again on the other side what not to do with the darker shadow. You don't want to, I mean, you guys get it. You don't want to over exaggerate this because my eye is just gonna really close off. See what I mean? Next point, liner. Unfortunately, when it comes to hooded eyes, the whole winged eyeliner thing doesn't really look flattering. And that's pretty much on most hooded eyes, not just my shape. So what you wanna do is you wanna get a flat shader brush. I have this one from MAC, Morphe has one as well. These are awesome. And you wanna just take a dark shade, so a dark brown or a black, and you want to just apply it to your natural lash line. So you want to push into your lash line like this. I'm not taking away any space from my actual lid, but I am defining. Just push and wiggle. And I find this is a lot more flattering than actually applying a liner onto your eyes if you have hooded eyes. So what you don't want to do is take a liner. I'm just going to use the eyeshadow because that's what's in front of me. I find that gel liners really don't work, so I have one, but I'm just going to show you guys. You don't want to take a liner and really do like a wing and really define. See how this is just going to take away the openness to my eyes that I already have. Camera shut off. What else is new? We also have a little visitor over there, Theo. This is what a hooded eyeliner don't looks like. So you can see I have an extremely exaggerated liner, and when I like let my eyes go normal, it just like takes away everything. So this is what the do side looks like right now, and this is what the don't side looks like. So what I like to do now is just take a big flat brush, and then this is when I kind of go in and I clean up right here. And I just use that to kind of clean any kind of shadow that kind of went out too far. Again, keeping with the natural lash line, just lift. And this will once again help to lift the eyes. So now I want to show you how you can use shimmer up here to highlight and in the inner corner. I'm just going to go ahead, and this is usually what I do, leave that base color that I applied right here because I think it looks nice. I'm going to take the Casey Holmes palette on a pencil brush, and I'm very strategically going to just place that lightly under just the arch. While I do this, I'll talk about my next point, which is having an arched eyebrow really helps. See how it kind of lifts my eye with these arches? That's kind of why I do my eyes like that, my eyebrows, because it helps lift. So if my eyebrow was more like flat, like obviously I'm exaggerating more of the hood right now, but I wouldn't have as much lid space. So the arched brows really help to kind of lift the eye, and then strategically, if you want to use shimmer, placing it very close to just the arch area will allow you to use shimmer. I'm also gonna take that shimmer and apply it on the inner corner here and just pat it out. So on the don't eye, I'm going to take that shimmer and apply it down the hood, which is just highlighting that area and making it look messy. And then I'll just kind of carry it over and bring it under the eye like that. So you can see that side is just not flattering at all, and that side is making the shimmer work. Next point is to be strategic with where you apply your lower eyeshadow. You do not want to bring it down too heavy, because then it's going to make your whole eye look heavy and bring it down a little farther. Again, we want to lift. So I'm just gonna take that same flat shader brush that I used to apply my liner, and I'm going to start applying that with the lighter brown shadows to my lash line. I'm gonna keep it pretty tight, and I'm going to stop right about a third of a way. And then I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'm just going to blend that out. This is when I kind of go back into those two brown colors, lighter brown, and I start to connect it to the upper lash line and bring it up like that. And again, I'm going to blend that out with a fluffy brush so everything looks blended and seamless. And then going back with the pencil brush, I'm just gonna lightly drag the minimal product that's left in, but I'm stopping right where my color of my eye stops, because I don't want to close in the eye. So we've got that, and I'm going to show you what not to do on the other side. I'm going to take that darkest shade that we worked with, and I'm going to bring it down. Not really strategically placing it, and bringing it all the way in. So close off the eye and just kind of droop. There's a lot of tutorials out there where they can bring the eyeshadow way far down and make it look super smoky, but you can make the smoky look work. You just have to be a little more strategic. So now this eye looks really nice and closed, and this eye looks a little more open. The next thing you want is a flesh toned eyeliner. Clearly I use mine a lot, and these are your best friends when it comes to hooded eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply this to my lower waterline, and that's just going to open up my eye. Now what you don't want to do is take a black liner and apply that to the lower and upper lash line. If I apply black eyeliner to this upper lash line, no matter what product it is, it's gonna drop down and then make this lower area look kind of gray. So I avoid that at all costs, and that's why I press the liner into the lash line, because it gives it the same kind of effect. So final point here is to curl your lashes, give them a really good curl, and coat them really nicely with mascara to open the eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl this guy, and I have a crazy regimen with mascara because it just kind of works for my eyes. And then I'm gonna start with my Maybelline Lash Sensational, and I'm gonna apply one coat of that. Really make sure you focus on your outer lashes, because that's what really makes your eyes look a little more lifted and open. I don't know why every time I say lifted I have to do that, but it just feels right. And then I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal Voluminous Million Lash Excess and put another coat of this, and I'm gonna let that dry on the top lid and not go in on the bottom lid yet, because when you have especially hooded eyes, if you look down and start to do the bottom lash, it could definitely transfer. So I'm gonna just take one mascara on the other side, and I'm not gonna curl my lashes. A lengthening mascara on the other side. I'm not gonna curl my lashes, and I'm just gonna apply a quick coat. And then I'm gonna go in on the lower lash line as well before that dries. And I'm not strategically, being precise about the outer corners. So that's what that looks like when you don't really focus on the outer corners, just one quick coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in on the bottom lashes with the Falsies Push Up Angel. This is just a more precise wand, which allows me to really coat all of those little lashes. So this is the final look, you guys. You can see that this side just looks so much bigger, so much more open, and it's just way more flattering than this side, which are some tips that I've picked up through other hooded eyes tutorials that just don't flatter my eye shape. There's deep set eyes, there's closed set eyes, there's monolids, there's upturned eyes, there's downturned eyes, there's round eyes, there's almond eyes, there's closed set eyes. There's all different types of eye shapes, and your eyes might be that shape and be hooded as well. So you might not be able to follow some of the tutorials out there. My biggest tip to you guys is to get out there and practice what works for your eyes. Nothing will allow you to really know your shape and apply flattering eyeshadow if you don't know what works for your eyes. So that is my biggest tip. Get out there and practice. You will learn some of these techniques. Maybe all of these techniques won't work for you, but I hope this was at least inspiring to help you get out there and practice. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know below. I read and respond to every single comment. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It means the world to me. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.